Hey guys, welcome to the second lesson of the course. Now we have our planet base, we have the shape of the planet with the spheres and the sea and the little road. Now it's time to create this little house. Now it may seem like it's a bit complicated, but it's actually quite simple to create. So let's begin by creating a new document because otherwise it can be a little annoying creating the objects here in the same document as the planet. So I'm going to create a new document, and then I'm going to take the object that we create, I'm going to take it to this clay planet document. So go to new, and the first thing that we're going to do is to create a cube. Remember that the cube is almost the base for anything that we're going to model and sculpt on Cinema 4D. So let's make it quite simple. I have the cube, and now I'm going to create a subdivision surface. Now throw the cube into the subdivision surface, and you will see that the subdivision surface, what it did is to round all the cube because it should subdivided all the entire object that we have here. This case is the cube. So now it's like a sphere, and I don't want a sphere, I want like a rounded rectangle. So if I want to change that, first on subdivision surface you can see that it's a little sharp, the edges are a little sharp, it's not so round. So I'm going to take the subdivision surface and add some subdivisions here on the subdivision editor. Right now it's on 2, we can add to 5 maybe. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, now I'm going to select the cube, and on the object tab you can see that we have the size and the segments. If we add some segments on the y-axis, this is what happens. You can see that the shape, it looks more like a rounded rectangle now. So I'm going to leave it on 3 segments on the y-axis, and I'm going to increase the y-axis size just a little bit, maybe to 300, not too much, maybe to 50. Yeah, like this. This is a nice shape, and this is the base for our home. Okay, now next is the ceiling. You can see on the render I made, you can see it's some sort of like mushroom house. So I'm going to create this shape now, the roof of the house with these little balls here. Now it's actually quite easy to create. Just take another cube and place it here on the top of our base. You can call this house base if you want. It's a good idea to rename all our objects. Okay, now we have this cube, and now again let's create a subdivision surface and throw this cube into the subdivision surface. Now let's rename this as roof, and of course we have to change everything because I want it to look like a mushroom ceiling. So I'm going to first change the subdivision editor to 5, and I'm going to add some more segments. And now you can see that this looks very good, but I have to make it look like the mushroom shape that I want. So if I want to do that, I have to take the cube. First I'm going to remove this subdivision surface for now, just turn it off for a minute there, and make this cube editable with C. And now it's time to change some parts of this cube. We're going to change the layout to modeling so that we have these tools, the extrude and the bevel. And first take your polygon selection and select this side and take it a little bit to the right, and this one to the left, so that we have this shape. And if you want to see how it's looking with the subdivision surface, just turn it off and you can see how it's starting to look. Okay, now I'm going to take this top shape and I'm going to change my tool to a scale tool, and I'm going to really turn this more narrow here. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it's looking pretty nice, but right now it's too pointy, so I'm going to take my move tool and move this lower, kind of like this. And now I'm going to take the entire cube here, go to coordinates and change the Y size so that it's a little flatter. Okay, like this. Now let's change the position. Now let's increase a little bit the size, the Z-axis size, like this, and the X-axis size a little bit too, not too much. And let's move this a little bit to the top, like this. Okay, this is looking very good. Alright, that's it with the roof. Now it's time to add the little balls that goes in the mushroom roof. And to do that, just grab your sphere tool, create a sphere, take it to the top, and let's make it 100 segments. But for the radius we can use maybe like 10. They have to be really small. Now let's go to our top view, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to first, let's change the display to Goro, and I'm going to create a little pattern here with the spheres. And now I'm just going to start creating copies of this sphere. Alright, so we are done with the ceiling. Now it's time to create. Let's begin with the door. The door is actually quite simple to create. Just create another cube, and again create a subdivision surface. Let's make this cube smaller. And now, taking the door, I'm going to take the knife tool and now just create some incisions here. And that's it for the door. Now let's create the doorknob. It's just a sphere. Let's make it 10 and 100 segments, and we're going to place it here in front of the door. In fact, instead of 10, let's try 5. Okay, 5 is good. Now for the windows, just create a sphere. Make it 100 segments and change the size. Let's try 50, too much, 25. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it's just a small window. And make this sphere a little flatter. Let's change the z-axis size to maybe 0.4, a little bit more, 0.5. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate it. This, we can group the door objects here and call this door, and now we have the first sphere for the window. Now create a duplicate of this sphere and turn it off for now. Now take your main window sphere and make it editable. Now with the pole tool, we're going to create a lot of pressure, change the pressure size to 100%, and let's increase the size to 100% too. And what I'm going to do is to push all these polygons on the sphere with Control. Just push them all. Just a little bit, and start pushing all the polygons. We can change the size just a little bit so that we can be more accurate. Alright, we can push it until we have only the edges of this sphere. Don't worry about this looking weird, because remember that we are going to have the other sphere on top of this, so don't worry about it. Okay, we have this now. Now turn on the other sphere and change the size to 20, just like this, and bring it a little bit closer, like this, and you will have this shape. Alright, now we're just missing the two rectangles. They are quite simple to create. Just grab your cube tool and create a very thin rectangle. Now create a subdivision surface and place this cube on the subdivision surface. Now add some segments to the y-axis, maybe like 5 segments can be. Okay, this is fine. And now we're going to create a duplicate of this subdivision surface, and we're going to rotate the cube (90°), just like this, and we can place one on top of the other. Just bring it a little bit closer. Let's see how this looks. Alright, we have our window. You can change a little bit the rotation so that it's pointing towards the camera. And we have our first window. So we need to group all of these as a null, and we can duplicate this and take it to the left. We can rotate it just a little bit, like this. And now we have our house. Now what we are going to do is to group all of these layers, and we are going to call this house, and I'm going to copy this and paste it here on my main composition. Now just rotate the house and make sure that it looks good on top of our planet. Just rotate it a little bit. Like this. And now we have a planet with a house on it. So let's go to the next lesson where we're going to create the mountains and the trees.